Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Let's continue with our episode. Firstly, accept my apology for delay of these episodes and because I was a little bit sick for last couple of weeks. So right now I'm back and I will continue the contribution of the video tutorials. Alright, so let's get back to track. In the previous episode, we have completed our user card functionality where we have implemented the SNS and SQS in our user service, and we have created a new service that is called transaction service, which is kind of consumer of the order create event. While user going to be place a kind of order from there, then the transaction service going to be tackled at creating the order, creating the payment event, and sending some notifications by interacting with other services. Today, what we are going to do, we are going to confirm that the order create event it is properly reaching out to our transaction service, and where transaction service is able to consume all these things with the help of SNS and SQS, right? Then we are going to implement our payment gateway implementation, right? So how we can get it done, right? So if you can see, this is our kind of mock front-end application, all right? Don't go with the design and all those things. And definitely we will get back to this application in order to completion of all remaining part of the UI, so you people can experience like full stack experience from backend API and the front end and everything, right? But as of now, I'm only going to focus on like how we can just to create the order from here, okay? Right after added the card items and all the card items we have added from here in the Postman, right? And that is also we are going to implement right here in the front end application in the later stage, right? So how the things gonna work? So let's see. So if you click on the login, then this is our user ID and password, right? If I'm clicking on the sign in, right? Then you can see it is showing me it's a kind of like in the login profile, right? Here it is showing guest because we have not consumed the user profile API. So once we are consuming the profile API, then definitely you can see your name or some kind of like user ID or something else, right? And if you can click on the card, because these are the functionality we have not covered yet, click on the card, then you can see this is our card items, which is we have added from here, from the Postman, right? Create card. And once you place the order, what is going to be happen, right? If you can see in this database, right? Here we have created one migration also for this. Now, if you can see here in the database in the users table, we are keeping two different attributes right here. That is called the Stripe ID, or maybe you can keep it as a kind of payment gateway ID and a payment ID, right? So these are the two fields. You can keep it a kind of separate table also. That's not a problem, okay? But in our case, I'm just keeping it in the same table because this ID is permanent, right? This is temporary because this payment ID will be wiped out once the payment has been taken place and it is transferred all the data to our transaction service, right? But this ID is needed, right? This is a kind of payment gateway ID which is going to be determined like whether you have a safeguard or you have selected already some kind of default payment method just for processing something, right? How exactly the Amazon or eBay or some other big vendors are doing, the same way. So now you can see our card items and we can see like aggregated amount, like whatever the total amount right here, and tax and fee. So as an example, if I'm gonna add one more item here, and this one, maybe this one, and I'm going to create card. If I can see, I should supposed to see there are two items, right? 1 and 2. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And you can see once you are getting the card item, then total amount is 2,400, and this is our application fee, right? So if I'm going here also, if I'm going to refresh this page, this is our card items, right? So you can see this is our total amount, right? 2,400 because there are two items, right? And this is our tax and fee amount, right? The total fee is like this much. Once you hit the place order button, right, then it will redirect to our payment page where it will say like this much money is going to be sourced from your card, and please enter your customer whatever the credit card or debit card number, right? That is we need to enter, right? So that section, exactly this section. Now, once we click on the place order button, right, then our user service will be initiate a kind of authentication call to our payment gateway. And then payment gateway will return some kind of the authentication token in terms of like, it will create a kind of customer ID if it doesn't exist, right? And it will create a kind of payment ID as well as, which is going to be helpful for keep tracking of whether the payment has been succeeded or failed or something. Right. Based on that information, our user service will forward some kind of information to our front end as well as, where our front end can able to create a kind of UI for you where it will be collect the user card number and everything. So let's try to hit the plus order button, right? now you can see this is our payment UI, right? Which is exactly, it is provided from our user service with along with all the required credential, right? And this section exactly it is this one, right? We have implemented Stripe as a payment gateway. So Stripe is providing some kind of couple of test cards in various ranges in terms of like MasterCard and Visa and other stuff also. So we are going to implement our Visa card, Visa test card. So that's ending with like 4242, right? So you can use the 4242 for 16 digits, just like 4242, 4242. And expiry date will be just like 1234, and CVV number will be 123. Okay, so you can select your country here. Now you can see we have added our user card information. And the next step, we will be forward these things to Stripe. Then Stripe will be forward the payment gateway and encrypted data to bank, so bank can source your card and it will give some kind of response to Stripe. Then while Stripe will receive that specific response, right? Then there are two ways we can do. With the help of the webhook, it can be notified to our specific service, like, hey, your payment has been succeeded, all right. Then you can just go with it, like whatever the process you can do with it. And another way, right? So we have not implemented this webhook stuff, right? Then what we are going to do, once this is done, and once the Stripe will be send some kind of response to our front-end application, just like this way, okay? Here, this one, I'm gonna mark it some kind of different color, right? And this is a kind of weak color, okay? Then our front-end application will be put some kind of confirmation call to our user service. Right, so this is our confirmation call from our front-end application, right? This one. So once this confirmation call will go to the user service, then user service will check like whether this specific payment ID, which is already we have tracked here, you can see this payment ID, right? Based on this payment ID, if it is succeeded, all right, then user service will place a order call to our SNS topic. Okay, hey, we have received the payment, all right. So here is the payment ID, here is the log. Then just you can go ahead and place the order. If it is failed, then it will notify to our front-end application, hey, your payment has been failed, we cannot place the order. So that is the thing exactly we are going to do. Okay, so let's try to make it possible. So how we can do this? I'm gonna click on the inspect, right? And now you can see in the network tab, right? So I'm gonna click on the pay with Stripe, right? Now you can see our payment has been confirmed, all right? So let's try to check this confirm call. Which one? This call, exactly, this one, right? So let's mark it a kind of different color. So this call exactly this one, this confirm one. So now you can see here in the confirm, like we have, we send the card number, right? The expiry and everything, right? Along with our secret and all these things, like whatever exactly is necessary from our front end, we have sent it, right? This is the exact response we are receiving from our Stripe, right? Where it's pretty meaningful. The ID and amount is, I am just passing $2 hard-coded from our backend. So definitely I'll be using the actual payment throughout of this tutorial, right? So this is just like kind of, I just want to minimize for my testing account. That's why. Once we're receiving everything from our Stripe, right? Then one more call is going to from our front end to our user service, just to make sure like the payment is succeeded or not based on the payment ID, right? So this is the whole information exactly this giving back from our backend. So this is the thing exactly we are going to achieve today in this tutorial, right? Let's get back to the source code. All right, so let's dive into the source code. So these are our services, the product service, transaction service, and user service. In the product service, we don't have any kind of changes so far, okay? But in the transaction service and user service, let's do a kind of quick recap so we are not losing track of what we did in the previous episode. In the transaction service stack, let's review this class. So here, first of all, we are just creating a kind of SQS queue. And this is our order topic, which is we have created from our topic ARN. And that topic ARN has been created from our here in the user service. If you go to user service and service.yaml file, in the bottom of the file, this resource we have created here. And we are exporting this resource, the name of the customer topic, right? That is exactly, it's been imported here as well as. And finally, we have created a kind of subscription to that specific topic, right? By referring to that order queue, right? And this subscription exactly based on the filter policy that is called the place order. So that means while our user service is going to be publish any kind of the SNS topic, right? If it has a kind of message attribute that is called a place order, then our transaction service is going to listen to this one and do the needful accordingly. Okay. So for performing the operation, this Node.js function we have created based on this function props, right? And this file is exactly referred to that specific directory that is called source and order and that create. You can see here, this is a very simple Lambda function where we are just to try to whether we are perfectly able to receive it or not. Okay. And finally, we are just adding a kind of event source to that specific Node.js Lambda function, all right? And that event source is a kind of SQS event source, and we are referring to order queue that has been created here on the top of line number 18. Okay, I hope you have a kind of clear understanding what exactly the transaction service it is and how the things are going on in order to consuming the SNS topic with the help of SQS, right? Anyway, we are going to implement our order creation and the transaction creation also once we have implemented our payment gateway in our user service, right? Let's close it out. So let's go to the bigger piece of the cake, the user service, right? So here in the user service, I did a little bit refactor. So you can find it out, the refactor code base from the description below. So where you can start the whole episode from here. So let's go to serverless.yaml file. I did a couple of changes right here. First of all, I have used use.env, okay, use.env true. Okay, so we can utilize our local environment file here. And secondly, I have added serverless plugin optimize. This is the plugin I have added right here. And I have marked as a kind of package individually true. Okay, so what exactly it is doing, it is picking our Lambda function individually and it is optimizing a little bit, right? So we can get rid of some unknown or maybe unwanted dependencies, right? Here, if you see inside the functions, we have all the functions. It is dedicated to a single Lambda function to handle the operations. Earlier, one Lambda function is handling multiple events, right? So right now, it is dedicated to one single function. Okay. If you go to app and click on the handlers, you can see this is .env we are using right here. And right after that, this is our user handler, this is card handler, order handler, and payment handler. You can see we have segregated all the handlers to a certain file, certain responsible file. If you go to user handler, this is our user handler. Here, these are our imports, and this is our service. And all the functions are segregated to its own scope of functionality. In terms of sign up, Lambda function going to handle the create user, login will be login, and rest of all, right, accordingly. So now our Lambda function is pretty clean and lean. All right, this is the same way we did for our card handler as well as, right? See, it's very small right now. Okay. In the order handler as well as it is very small right now. Okay. In the payment handler, we have not added any code, but we'll get back and we'll add some code right here as well as. So these are the refactor I did. So you can go ahead and grab the latest source code and you can kickstart up from there. Okay. So first thing first, what do we need to do? First of all, let's try to deploy our services, right? So let's go to the product service. All right, so it is giving some error because I have not run my Docker, right? Make sure your Docker is running correctly, Docker desktop in your machine. Right? And let's give it a try once again. All right, so this is our product URL. All right, so our product service is deployed correctly. Let's copy this one from here and go to our user service and here, message queue, make sure like this specific URL is you're adding here, okay? Later stage, we are going to add these things in our CI/CD pipeline, okay? Right now, our product service is running. Let's go to run our user service. Perfect. So our user service also deployed correctly. Okay. So now let's give it a try with the transaction service as well as. So let's go back to root directory and go to transaction service, deploy. Perfect. So our transaction service also deployed correctly. If you go to AWS dashboard here, all the services are up and running. Yeah, everything is correctly, it's deployed. Okay. Now, if I am going here in SNS topic, SNS, right? Click here, click on dashboard. Here you can see there are two topics, right? So this is our customer topic. And you can see we have the customer subscription correctly. And if you click on this one, and you should supposed to see like action type is the place order, right? So this is the exactly message attributes we need to fire from our user service. Let's give it a try. Okay. Let's go to our Postman. From here, Postman, let's give it a try. So here I need to change my user URL. That is going to be this one, right? And save. Now let's try to log in. Yeah, this is my token, right? Let's copy the token from here. Copy, add it in user service. Okay. Now let's try to get the card items. Click here. Yeah, these are my card items, right? Only one card item is here. That's perfectly fine. So now click on the collect payment. So what exactly the collect payment it is? This is the URL we are going to call just to send some kind of the mock data to our transaction service, right? So how we can send it? With the help of the SNS and SQS. If you go to source code here, so this is the exact Lambda function is going to be tackle it, right? The collect payment endpoint. So let's try to go to this Lambda function. App handler and order handler and this one, right? Click here. This is the function going to execute once we are calling that endpoint, right? Where we are getting the card items and we are trying to publish a kind of SNS topic here. Okay, let's try to do so. So if it is successful, then we should be able to see something right there. First of all, I'm going to open the CloudWatch and click on the log groups. Let's try to remove all the old log groups. Delete. Right, so we don't have any log groups here. Close. Now go to Postman and click on the collect payment, right? Yeah, can you see we are getting some kind of response from that specific Lambda function, right? The message ID is this and this is the request ID. Okay, now let's go to our CloudWatch dashboard and click on refresh. Can you see here there are two log groups are getting called. One is our user service dev collect payment, that specific Lambda function, right? And another one is like our create order handler. That is exactly it's being called from here, right? And transaction service, this one, right? This one. So if it is really getting triggered by SNS topic, then we should supposed to see like SNS topic listener through SQS and the data. Okay, let's try to verify it. Click here. Click here. Great. Can you see? This is the exact message we are receiving here, and these are the data, right? So we are not interested in this piece of code, but can you see in the body, we have the card ID, this is the card item, this is the product ID, this is the name of the product, right? Everything is listed here, okay? And rest of all the attributes we have passed from there. In the source code, what we did there, we have paired some kind of event that is called place order, right? And even you can try it out here from here as well as SNS topic here. Here also you can try to send the topic, right? So click on the topics and go to our topic, customer topic, and click on the publish message, right? Put some kind of message here. Product information and is a kind of string and it's action type, and this is going to be some kind of that is called place order, right? Just like this. And you can see the publish message. So once this message has been published, you should supposed to see in the CloudWatch. Once this message has been published, then you should supposed to see in the CloudWatch as well as, right? Go to log groups and click here, then refresh it. Can you see? Now there are two messages are there, right? Yeah, this is the latest message, right? If you click here, right here, you can see, yeah, message is product information, right? And this is message, right? The exact body we are receiving right here as well as. And if you next time again, if you publish another message, right? Publish another message. This is not a product information, and select it with the string, and action type is create transaction, right? Create transaction as an example. This time we are just giving a kind of different value of the action type that is called create transaction. Make sure this action type is similar. Is it the same? Yeah, this is place order. Go to transaction service. Here. Yeah, action type place order. Yeah, we don't have any kind of another type of the filter policy. Only the place order will be able to consume by the order queue, right? So this time what we are doing here, this is not a kind of the message which belongs to the order queue, right? It's a kind of totally different. That's called create transaction. Let's try to publish it. Okay, so it's published, right? Now if you go to CloudWatch, right? Let's try to refresh. Nothing. Only 2 messages we have received, right? This is the first one, which is we have sent through our postman, and this is the second one, which is we have sent through our the notification service, all right, SNS, right, by creating from here. So now you can see that we have not received that specific message, right, because it is a kind of different keyword we have used for the filter policy, right? This is not exactly the order created, right? So this is how exactly the SNS and SQS is working in terms of like, publishing and subscribing. Okay. All right. So let's get back to source code, and we are going to implement our payment gateway right here.